What I care about is telling Emily Rose's story.
Holy Church venerates thee as her guardian and protector. To thee, the Lord has entrusted the souls of the redeemed to be led into heaven. Pray therefore to God of peace to crush Satan beneath our feet, that we no more will return men's captivity.
Do you understand how long they can put you away for this?
I want people to hear what only I can tell.
And what is that?
What really happened to Emily and why.
So she believed that her actual possession began that night at the hospital?
I think she did.
Emily had epilepsy. Father Moore's beliefs are based on superstition.
Did Father Moore ask you to give her any medical help?
I couldn't help her.
Why couldn't you help her?
Because there are no injections against the devil.
Emily? Hey, can you hear me?
Demons exist whether you believe in them or not. Just be careful, Aaron. There are forces surrounding this trial. Emily, can you hear me? It has begun.
For the glory of God.
Right, hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to Friday Night Appointment with Fear. This week we're doing, as you've just seen from that trailer, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And Windgrace is here. It's exorcism time, it is. It is time for us to exorcise our demons. And all that. And Josh Temple's here. Never fear, Maddie's here. Harpoon at the ready. We may need you to harpoon the devil himself. If necessary. And Joshua Kanapke's here as well. Howdy, howdy. Welcome to the show. Right, so the Exorcism of Emily, I can't speak. Exorcism of Emily Rose, directed by Scott Derrickson, and I personally think it's his best film. I think this is a fantastic film, and I'm not going to do it justice going through it because I've not taken any notes as usual, so I've probably forgotten everything. By the way, I've got the Blu-ray. It arrived in time. Not the Blu-ray. It arrived this morning, and it's crap. No special features at all, apart from the trailer. The DVD, which I can't find, I've got it on DVD, but I can't find it. It's got like commentaries and making of and all that. Unbelievable. Tell you, Blu-rays are crap, aren't they, these days? Or then when that came out. Anyway, directed by Scott Derrickson, starring Laura Linney, the late Tom Wilkinson, who just died a few days ago, which is very sad. Campbell Scott, Colin Fiore, class him as starring. I don't know why he's got his name so high up on the list, but never mind. Jennifer Carpenter in a great role. I like Jennifer Carpenter. Admittedly, I've not seen her in that many things, but this and Quarantine come to mind. Quarantine's a decent remake of Wreck, the Spanish found footage film. And Quarantine's a decent remake of that English language one. Mary Beth Hurt, Henry, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Cherney, is it? And the amazing Shore Agdashlu in a brief role. Yes, all the Joshes are here. Council of Joshes have commenced. There may not be injections against the devil, but harpoons work. Fingers crossed. The three best Joshes that anyone could know. Exactly. Could have changed my name to Josh. Anyway, right. So, and what else? It had a budget of $19 million and made $145 million at the box office. So, it did okay. Not the biggest film ever made. I don't think it got particularly good reviews, but I think it's an amazing film, and I've been sat almost crying at the end of it. There's just one line at the end of the film that always sets me off. So, when we get to that part, you may see a little tear run down my face. We will see. Right. Before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube. Yes. We're live on Rumble, and we're live on X. Yes, we are live on X. Links are in the description for all that stuff, as well as my Facebook page, my Instagram, and all that. Hang on, where's my books? Links to my 2 books as well. Oh, come here, bloody hell. Right. Links to my 2 books. Mercury Rapids, light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs and stuff. Silent Predator, short horror novella about big cats eating people in a North Yorkshire village. Don't know if you can hear me. But anyway, I've put my coat on again today because I'm a bit nippy. Maybe it's the devil making it cold. Right, let's get on with the film. I make myself titty tiny. Oh, what happened then? What happened then? What? Something's happened to my screen. I don't know what. All right, come big again. That was weird. A weird thing happened to me StreamYards thing. I think it's been faffing. I think StreamYards has been faffing with its settings and stuff. So people have been complaining about it recently. But anyway, right, yes, demons making it cold. Probably. I'm blaming them. Right. So off we go. As usual, I'll not just be playing the film because I'll get into trouble. So we'll go through it in a series of stills. I may do the odd whatchamacallit, clipette, play a little bit. But off we go. Right. So we begin. Shush. Mute. Got to mute it. There we go. So we begin with the studio idents and blah, blah, blah. Right, off we go. Come on, get on with it. Right, we begin. It's quite gloomy, by the way. It does have an air of an oppressive air to this film. It's not a barrel of laughs, to be honest. Particularly, in the farm that Emily Rose lives. Joshua asks, how do you like this one versus the last Exorcism? Oh, this one's infinitely better. The last Exorcism's, okay. I don't mind it. But it could have been more. It could have been better. But I think this one's miles better. And I do like found footage films. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention, this film is kind of inspired by the true story, because it says at the beginning of the film, based on a true story. Well, inspired by a true story of Anneliese Michel, who was a German teenager who in the 70s, I think it was 1976, was allegedly possessed by a demon of the devil. And she underwent 67 exorcisms over the course of a year and ended up dying of malnutrition and, injuries and stuff like that. Much as described in this film. And her parents and the priest that did all this, they were found guilty, in a German court of negligent homicide. But they didn't. I don't think they served any prison time because, according to the judge, they had suffered enough. But anyway, anyway. So what was that? Too bad. 69 was the magic number. I don't get that. I don't get that. That's gone over my head. Anyway, sorry, that was Bad Taste. No, Bad Taste is a cool film by Peter Jackson. I think it was his first one, wasn't it? That's a great film. Anyway, right, here we go. Pumpkins. Oh, yes, because the exorcism. Anneliese Michel went through 67 exorcisms. In this film, there's just one. And it fails. Spoilers, it fails spectacularly, I suppose. But anyway, look at those pumpkins, because the exorcism in this film takes place on All Hallows Eve, Halloween. So anyway, so off we go. Here's the medical examiner arriving at the Rose house, because because she has died at this point. This is where we start, and she's, it should come up. Emily Rose was dead to begin with, and she is. But so we're seeing all this, like I say, all this stark, footage, photography. I say it's all very kind of depressing. Here we see Tom Wilkinson. Tom Wilkinson plays Father Moore, the priest who ends up going to on trial, accused of negligent homicide, of Emily Rose, because essentially she was in his care. Anyway, hang on, Joshua Knapp says, I thought 42 was the universal number. And Josh Temple says 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Yes, it is. The thing is, we don't know the question. That's what it is, which is why the earth was created, to find out the question to the answer of life, the universe, and everything. But we're getting off track already. Anyway. Right, so this is the medical examiner is arrived. We see that there's a police officer up in Emily Rose's bedroom. There's Tom Wilkinson as the priest. There's the police officer. You can just see in the background the walls have got deep scratches on them. So, something's gone on. A clock ticking. Because grandfather clocks are spooky. They are. Anyway, so they come back down, and the medical examiner... Have I got the subtitles on? Yes, I have. The medical examiner says he cannot state that, it's death by natural causes or whatever. So he's basically saying, she's died of, a homicide, basically. So this policeman basically arrests Father Moore. He doesn't say you are under arrest, doesn't read his Miranda rights, but he just says you're going to have to come with me, Father. And so that's how it happens. They were seeing the barn where part of the exorcism took place. But it's looking very surprised there, wasn't it? By the way, amazing actor Tom Wilkinson, and I'm surprised he's probably the only senior British actor that's never been in Harry Potter. But anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Right, so here we go. So news things are there. Priest, going to court for the death of because of an exorcism and all that's gone wrong. It's all going to court. This is the district attorney putting his team together. They want Ethan Thomas, who's a good prosecutor, but also a religious man. They wanted a Catholic, but apparently he's not a Catholic; he's a Methodist. But they still wanted him. There's Chief Tyrrell from Battlestar Galactica. In the courtroom, we've got Battlestar Galactica on the prosecution, and we've got a Stargate SG-1 actor on the defence, as we'll see. Right, so this is where we meet Erin Brunner, the Laura Linney character, who seems to have a drinking problem. But we're going to see her in a minute. There she is. I like Laura Linney. I liked her in Congo. Congo's one of those films I really like. And I might do it one day. I might do it on Magnificent Mondays. Congo's one of my guilty pleasures. Anyway, so here she is. She's playing Erin Brunner, a ambitious young attorney, lawyer, whatever you want to call them. And she gets given the case by Colm Fiore, who you may know as the Lord Marshal from Chronicles of Riddick. So it's where we learn that she defended a bloke called, I think, James Van Hopper, who was, a murderer, and she got him off, basically. And then we find out later in the film, he goes off and kills somebody else. So a star's rising, and then during the course of this trial, it starts falling again. Anyway, Joshua says, I do enjoy Congo. So do I. I really like Congo. Lola, show I'm watching just an episode where they use Congo as their prom theme. Oh, cool. I can't remember the... That's the Congo theme, isn't it? Or it would be if it were in tune. Anyway, yeah, I like Congo. But anyway, and she's good in that. Right, so she gets given this case, and she says what she wants in exchange for taking on this case, she wants, a partnership at the firm. As I said, she's ambitious, and that's all it is to her. It's just, I don't know if she cares about these clients. It's all the game, isn't it? It's all part of the game for them, to improve their own, personal lot. But she does end up caring during the course of this film. But and you notice during the course of the film, hair is all lovely at the beginning, and as the film goes on, it tends to start looking a bit more darker and lank. I don't know if that's deliberate or if I'm just reading too much into it. I don't know. Oh no, I mean the theme, as in directions and costumes. Oh right, decorations. Right, okay. Not the musical theme. See, I was being too literal. Anyway, so she gets given the case. Right, so off she goes. Right, so she goes to prison where Father Richard Moore is being held, and I think there was a prisoner in the cell next to him. But later on, as the film goes on, I think they get, he ends up by himself in this cell block. I think so. Anyway, I could be wrong. Let's go back and check, see if it shows. I'm sure she sees somebody in the. Yes, there is. Look, there's all people in these jail cells, but later on they all start disappearing. I don't know if they're moving or if they ask to be moved or what. I don't know, but because spooky things start happening. Anyway, so here he is. So she says she's his defense, and by the way, she's been. He could have like a public defender, but the diocese is paying, for this firm to defend him, and that's as far as they want to go. Does the church? That's as far as they want to go. But anyway, so she's telling him that they've got to. It's her job to get him to walk. He doesn't want to take any plea bargains or anything like that. She says she can get a better deal, but he says he don't want no plea bargains. He wants to go to trial. He wants to tell Emily Rose's story. That's the only thing he's interested in. I don't know. It's supposed to be set. Where does it say where it's supposed to be set? I think it's somewhere on the east coast of the US. I don't know if it's like Boston or somewhere like that. Does it say? I'm just looking. No, I don't think it really says. I think it's supposed to be just anywhere. Because I'm trying to work out what accent he's putting on Tom Wilkinson. Because obviously he's English. He's a Yorkshireman, actually, from Leeds. Well, he was. Well, he was born in Leeds. But trying to work out what accent is putting on in this film. Anyway, so she says it's her job to prepare him for trial and all that. If he doesn't want to take a plea bargain, so right. That's the Rose house. Again, we see that they're a very religious family, they're very devout Catholics. So she's here to see the family, and we learn that lots of cats. Because apparently Emily Rose were always taking in cats. She didn't like to leave strays. A bit like me. Except they don't let them in the house. But if they do get in, they get booted back out again. Feed them in the garden. Anyway, so she's talking to Emily's mom. And she goes to see her room and everything. Oh, this is basically Emily's mom telling her that Emily got a scholarship because she's super, super clever, is Emily. And she's got a scholarship to go to, university or whatever. She doesn't have to pay for it. They'll pay her way. She's got this scholarship. And so she's all excited. And she says, I'll be fine, Mom, I'll be fine. Mum's nervous for her, but also excited. It's what you've always wanted. So off she goes. Off she went to university. Here's his Erin meeting with I forgot his bloody name already. I forgot his name already. Ethan Thomas, the prosecutor. So she's having a meeting with him. Hang on. Where are we? I see I'm missing out on stuff in the chat here. Where are we? By the way, there's a screenwriter commentary on the DVD. Yes, I know. Yes, not on the bloody Blu-ray. I know. Yes, I'd have watched that. I did find a making of on YouTube, so I've watched that. So I got a little bit of information from it. But like I said, the Blu-ray is pointless, apart from it being in HD. Really annoying. I don't understand why they do that. And it's kind of reversed now, isn't it? Like DVDs come with sod all on, and the Blu-rays have a little bit of stuff, and now they're slapping everything on the 4Ks, aren't they, and charging you twice as much. Anyway, right. So she's having a meeting with the defense, and blah blah blah. He wants to agree to a deal. She's saying no. He wants to go to trial. Blah blah blah. All that jazz. This is there you go. Reduced to reckless endangerment. She says no. He wants to go to trial. Oh, and then he says, "Have you seen the post-mortem photographs?" Because she's saying something like, Emily Rose, was in his care and all that. And then he says, "Have you seen the post-mortem photographs?" And obviously she hasn't, but she kind of flannels. Says, "I'll see you in court." Right, so she's getting ready with her notes. These are going to be some of the people that she's calling. Dr. Vogel, Dr. Briggs, who we do see. And then Dr. Edith Vogel. Oh, that's just seen that, haven't we? But that's the family doctor. And there's also another doctor later on as well. So there she's working away. I said, what city is that in the background? No idea. New York, Boston. I don't know. Could be anywhere. Oh, by the way, she's boozing as well. Look, I think she's always got a drink going. Anyway. So she's asleep. We see that by her watch there on the nightstand, there you go. It stops at 3 a.m. Swiss made. So she's got some brass, hasn't she? A watch stops at 3 a.m. Doesn't show her alarm clock. But never mind. But then I was thinking, oh, she's going to be late. But that's later on in the film. But she's obviously just put a watch on them in the morning, not check the time on it, because she's here in court now, getting ready, to start. And she looks at her watch and she notices, there we go, it stopped at 3. She gives it a tap. But she obviously never noticed when she put it on. But anyway, so Ethan, what's his face, starts doing the prosecution's what they call it, opening statement, basically, saying that she was a lovely young woman who had all the future ahead of her, and then she had an illness that saying she had epilepsy and psychotic epilepsy and all this stuff, that she were given drugs, she were prescribed drugs, Gambutrol, which I think is a made up drug. She was prescribed this drug and she was taking it, but it didn't seem to help. But he don't say that, but we'll learn later on it didn't seem to help. And so he's saying, but this man there, him sitting there, he told her to stop taking the drugs, which is not entirely what happened, but we get to learn that. So he's saying he's painting a bad picture for Father Richard Moore, which is his job, isn't it? That's his job. And then Erin, she says, I will make my opening statements when we present our case or whatever. So I says, fair enough. So the trial begins. He's still giving it all that. There, he shows a picture of her before, and then there's an after. Is it going to show it? The after picture showing, I think, just before she died, showing her all bruised and teeth broken and stuff like that. We see it later. Speaking of physical media, I went to Best Buy thinking they'd have things on sale since they're ditching it, but nope. All right. Yes, they're on about getting rid of physical media, aren't they? But anyway, I get all my stuff mostly from Amazon and eBay now. Occasionally, I get something from when I'm out shopping, all the second-hand place. Where they get games and DVDs and stuff. One of them places. But anyway, that's by the by. Right, so he's doing his opening arguments, saying she died horribly, and Father Richard Moore, was he's guilty. He killed her. Blah blah blah. Right, so they're calling the family doctor. She's saying that Emily Rose was a sickly child, but she grew up to be a normal girl who went to college. She's excited about it. She kept in touch with the doctor while she was in college, but she was nervous about leaving her family. But then I think she got a phone call. Does it tell us? She'd been to a dance. She'd met a boy, this lad called Jason, who kind of becomes a boyfriend. There's no hanky-panky in this film, but he kind of becomes we'll just call him, he's a close friend, but essentially a boyfriend. But then we learned that one night something happened in her dorm room, and she phoned up the doctor, and she were all hysterical and that. It's supposed to be set, by the way. So the film came out in 2005. The case that it's based on is in the 70s, and they did think about setting it in the 70s. They thought that'd be, prohibitively expensive. So what they've done, they've made it like it's not set in any particular time. They've tried to make things as timeless as possible, the fashions and the hairstyles and stuff like that. But no mobile phones or cell phones, sorry. Nobody seems to be using those. So that's this using a public payphone here. But anyway, so something's happened to her, and she's all hysterical. And we learn, she tells the doctor that she were alone in her dorm room. Her roommate were away for the weekend. Hang on. Where are we? Only thing I considered getting was the steelbook of the original Battlestar Galactica pilot movie, which it was still full price. Is that the original Battlestar Galactica? Yeah. But I've seen two versions of that. There's a version, or there was a version that were in widescreen, which is probably the theatrical version, I suppose. There's another one that's in 4:3, and I don't understand why they'd release it in 4:3 when they've got a widescreen version available. But anyway, cool. We did it, didn't we? We did Battlestar Galactica in Magnificent Mondays. I think we did a while ago. Did we? I think we did. Maybe not. I can't remember. I think we did. No hanky panky. Okay, I'll see you next week. See, Windgrace is gone now. Look, it's gone because there's no hanky panky. I'll have to get a film then that's got some hanky panky for next time. Anyway, right. So she's in a dorm room by herself. Like I said, her roommate's away for the weekend. I think she'd gone back to her parents or something for the weekend. I think she wakes up at 3 a.m. She thought she could smell burning, so she went out to check the corridor, to see if there were a fire or anything. But everything were okay. But there's a sense of unease. But you notice everything looks a bit orange. Apparently they used 3 colours, 3 colour motifs for this film. Orange is orange is for the for evil is around. I think he said maroon is for inquiry. So like the courtroom scenes have a maroon tint to it or something like that. And white is for hope, which I think we'll see way later on in the film. Anyway, so obviously nobody about because it's 3 a.m. No fire, but so there's some presence. She hears a door slam, and she goes running back into her room, scared, and she gets into bed, and then her pencils start moving across the desk by themselves, as we see in a minute. Is it going to show it? Come on. Here they go. There we go. Moving across the desk by themselves. And they fall on the floor. makes her sit up, and then something pulls sheets off the bed. Some unknown force or unseen force. Then we see something pressing onto the bed. Anyway, something starts attacking her, basically. Look, something starts getting her, trying to pull up her nightie and all that. I said there were no hanky-panky. This is the most hanky-panky we're going to get in the film. But you don't see anything, don't worry. Yeah. I'm not going to be doing the entity, because that'll be a nightmare. Well, part of it would be anyway. For YouTube, at least, anyway. So something's attacking her, something's grabbing her by her throat, and I think at the same time other things are, doing other things with her, trying to lift her skirt up. So not a skirt, a nightie up, and all that. So she's being, the R-worded by an unseen force. And I'm sure I've seen somewhere, it might have been, I might have watched the DVD with a commentary or something. I'm sure they've said that, many hands were upon her or something like that, not just two. I'm sure I've seen that somewhere, or I might be thinking of a different film. Anyway, I might be thinking of The Entity, actually. Now I say that. But anyway, something attacks her, and so something's... But she's not possessed yet, apparently. But this is the instigating event that, starts it all in motion. She's being attacked. Right. And that's when she ran out, phoned the doctor. Hysterical. Right, next we see this fella. I don't know the name of the actor, but you've seen him in everything. He's been in everything, hasn't he? He's been in Stargate, I think. He's probably been in Star Trek as well, I should imagine. Anyway. Yes, back to your Jane Seymour. You say Jane Seymour-a-thon. Yeah, I did. I had a couple of Jane Seymour films, didn't I? And, yes. But do you like candy photography? Know what I mean? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay. Anyway, I'll get back to the film. Right. So this is the doctor that initially looked at Emily Rose after this attack, and he found out, he did some tests on her, did ECG and all that, and found that in his opinion. She had epilepsy, so this is the doctor that put her on Gambitrol. And they said that when you've got epilepsy and stuff like that, it can cause hallucinations among other things. So that's his opinion, his medical opinion. There we go, and that says seizures and all that. So we see her there, but apparently. I don't know if this will be later, won't it? What we're seeing there, where she's having one of her seizures, but she felt that the possession didn't actually start until she was in hospital. So it might have been when this doctor were examining her. That's when she felt that the possession began, not when she was initially attacked. EEG, not ECG. ECG is your heart, isn't it? EEG is your brain, isn't it? Anyway. Or is it a Monty Python? Oh, is it him? Oh, right. Yes, I know what you mean. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. Him, yes. Galvatron. Gambitrol. I forgot already what it is. Gambitrol. Anyway. Where were we? EEG. That's what it said. She had epilepsy. Temporal lobe epilepsy, which is what Annalise Michel were apparently diagnosed as having. But there you go. He made more appointments, but Emily Rose, didn't go back to see him again because she was convinced, she was being possessed by a demon, and so there we go. But apparently, she kept taking her medication. So anyway. And there we go. So he says, what in your opinion happened to Emily Rose? And this doctor says, I believe Father Moore's suggestion killed her, as in, said the say Father Moore that suggested that she stopped taking the Gambitrol. But we learn that that's technically not true later. Well, according to Father Moore. Anyway, right. So he's had enough. So your witness. So then she starts turning it round she's not really doing a great job, to be honest. She says, your opinion was that she had temporal lobe epilepsy, but could you have found that she didn't have temporal lobe epilepsy? And he's like, I suppose, maybe, I don't know. But, she was epileptic. And anyway, so she doesn't do well on this first day. So she goes to see Father Thingamabob, Father Moore, and then we're noticing the prison, the cells next to him are now empty for some reason. There we go. Have they just moved? For whatever reason. Maybe this is just holding cells for people on remand. They've gone. Or have they moved because weird things are happening? Because this is now where Father Moore tells her, this is before we get started, tells her that she's going to be attacked spiritually because now she's involved herself in this case. The devil's minions will be out together. So he could argue that he's kind of implanted that in her brain now for stuff that happens later. Well, anyway, but then she says, we've got to focus on reality, essentially. She doesn't really believe. And he tells her, it doesn't matter if you believe or not, it's still going to happen. Wingrace says, why take a gamble when you can take Gambatrol? You should work in advertising, Wingrace. Maybe you do, I don't know. Hope this fictional company is hiring. Yes, I'd like some money for that. Yes. With a little jingle. Why take a gamble when you could take Gambatrol? Fight off the devil. But that's not how it works in this. The Gambatrol makes it easier for the devil to get in, apparently. Neurologist Kenneth Welsh. He was in Hideaway and The Covenant. Oh, okay, cool. I know he's been in Stargate. I've seen him in Stargate as well. And I think Star Trek. Like I say, he's one of those faces that's been in a lot, hasn't he? Right. So this is where we're learning that she was sent to the hospital for testing and observation, and this is where she felt that her possession began, apparently. There you go. She's not looking well. She's looking out of a hospital window, and we see faces in the clouds. There we go. So she freaks out there, and then she has some sort of seizure. She falls on the floor and starts writhing on the floor. And this is young Jason, who becomes kind of a boyfriend. This is him that he tells us that this is when she felt that she was possessed. Because in her dorm room, there you go, she resisted the demons, but now, because she'd been on these drugs now, she felt that these drugs sort of like lessened her resistance, I suppose, you could argue. And that's what she felt had happened. So, anyway. So, she's in class now. Not looking well. And she looks out again. It's raining outside. And she sees a face in the window. Kind of in the, that condensation or whatever in the window. In a minute. There we go. There it is. A scary face. Is it a hallucination? Don't know. Could be. He was from Discovery. That's why I forgot. Well, in Discovery. All right. I can't remember. I'm sure I've seen him in classic Star Trek. I'm sure I've seen him in that. I know for a fact I've seen him in SG-1. I think you were in that episode of SG-1 where they were like that asteroid that had a ship inside. It was like the baddie in that. Anyway, by the by. So she sees that, she freaks out a bit, and then she looks at one of her classmates and hang on. Go on, you can look at one of your classmates, because it'll skip past it if I bloody do it. I'll see how it is. Then we have one of the first time she sees somebody's face changing. There we go. Oh! It's not the best, is it? But so she freaks out and runs out into the rain. So she runs out into the rain and she goes to the chapel. As you can see, because like we're seeing it from her point of view, all the colours, the orange is highlighted to show that evil is afoot. I don't know how they picked orange; they just did. But So she goes running to the chapel, the campus chapel. There's Jason watching with his mates. He sees her going into the university chapel there with a nice little sign saying that's where we're going. It was in Stargate Atlantis, Jamus. Atlantis. Yes, it was Atlantis. Yes, it was. That was the one with the asteroid, wasn't it? Oh, yes, not SG-1. Yes, SG Atlantis and Discovery. Yeah. I was thinking of like seasons 9 and 10 of SG-1, but no, we're in Atlantis. Yes, the ship in the asteroid. There were people. There were like DNA things or whatever. Weren't there? Like thousands of people that stored somehow. I can't remember that episode exactly, but yeah. But anyway, I'm getting off topic again. I'm getting off topic. Right, she goes to the chapel and she goes inside, and these two old biddies here are praying, and their faces go doolally as well. Hang on. It always skips over. It always skips to just after what you want to see, doesn't it? It's dead annoying. There's no way to change the skip length. There should be. But anyway, so she comes in. She's wet through. She's wet through, poor lass. And see these old ladies. There we go. They change. Do a bit of a Bilbo. When he tries to get the ring. Ah! So she screams at them. Ah! And they go running out. In a minute. There you go. They go running out. Look, just as young Jason comes in. And there you go. And he sees her. And she's bending. She bends over backwards in some weird way. She was in a harness for this. That really complicated harness and stuff for it, so she could like tilt herself backwards for this. That's it. There you go. She's just doing that. Obviously, she couldn't do that in real life. but she's with the red eyes and all that. She's saying, "Don't leave me, Jason," but he's freaking out. But he sticks by her. Bless him. Bless him. But so she's getting a bit worried now, he's Erin, because things are happening. And then we learn that James Van Opper's murdered a young couple. The fella that she got off, he's gone and murdered somebody now. So she's thinking, oh, God, here we go. It's all going wrong. So she gets upset and goes into the bathroom. And I thought something was going to happen with this woman here, but it doesn't. Then she goes to bed. And then 3 in the morning now, again. At 3 a.m. I know it was 6 in Groundhog Day. So it's 3 a.m. and she just wakes up, as you sometimes do. And there's like a hint in when you're watching the film, there's like a hint in the soundtrack as though that you can hear something breathing. I always think of one of my favourite authors is Graham Masterton, and he once did a thing in one of his books. I can't remember which book it was now. It could have been Devils of D-Day. It could have been like what's the other one? Heirloom or something like that, where a demon says to somebody, I am the breath on your cheek that wakes you in the middle of the night, something like that gives you the chills, that sort of thing. And I get the feeling that's happened. So she wakes up and she goes out. She doesn't turn all the lights on like I would do, but was checking her apartment, and puts the light on, and then the light goes off. So obviously there's some sort of power cut. She goes to get a drink of water. And by the way, this clock stops at 3. Are you ready? Oh no, it's just before 3. Pardon me. But I'm thinking, is that from 3 o'clock the previous day? Did that stop? Is she just not started it again, or has it stopped again? I don't know. But she just picks up this glass, look, and just gets a drink. And I don't know is it just me, or have you got to rinse it out? I've always got to rinse out anything before I just get a drink. I've always got to give it a swill first. Usually a couple of times, to be honest. Maybe it's ADHD, I don't know. No, not that. OCD, whatever. But no, she just pours water in. There could be anything in the bottom of that glass, love. Could be a spider in for all you know. Worst part of waking up, says Wingrace, is Demo on your cheek, sung to the Folgers jingle. What? What's the Folgers jingle? I don't know. All right, I've got to sing that. I don't know what the Folgers jingle is. Is that an American thing? Joshua Kanapke got it. Anyway, so she has a drink of water, but all the lights have gone off. And then she hears a noise. She hears the noise of a dog going, so she drops a glass. It smashes on the floor, but we're not seeing it. So she goes to investigate. Oh, she sees the apartment door. I'm guessing it's an apartment and not a house. I don't think we ever see it from outside. But we see the doors up. Was that a shadowy figure? Did we see a shadow there? Then I have to go back a frame at a time now. Oh no, it's just the. I think it's just the shadow of, I don't know, the camera or something, I don't know, or the door or whatever. Her apartment door's swinging open. Did the wind blow it open? Did she not shut it properly? Don't know. Oh, it says it's a coffee brand. It's a coffee brand. Right. I get cheap coffee. It's like, English instant cheap coffee. Not the cheapest, but cheap. Anyway, her door is open. So she just runs and shuts it and locks it and puts the chain on. Should have had that to start with, love, but never mind. Now, if that had happened, I'd been checking every room in the house/apartment. I'd been checking every room with a big knife in my hand. I would. But she doesn't. She just runs to bed. There you go. And probably doesn't sleep much for the rest of the night. Meanwhile, Father Moore's in his prison cell. He wakes up. Maybe it's at 3 a.m. again. I don't know. Oh, sorry, my mouse pointer's right up his nose. Look. Sorry, Tom. He wakes up and he sees something. He sees a figure, dark figure, through the bars of his cell. Not right outside his cell, so like, the corridor outside. A figure walks across. See, it's not going to bloody show it, look. Come on, show us. There it is, a dark figure, a shadowy figure, a shadow figure even. So he starts saying a prayer and it disappears. But we learn he's been seeing this shadowy figure for a while now, since he started, looking after Emily Rose. There we see Emily Rose's, the last photo before she died, they tell us. So, as I say, covered in bruises and self-inflicted injuries. And we learn that Erin is late. She's 17 minutes late, and she says, "I'm sorry," but they get on with it. Right. So this is that Henry Cherney fella. He's a doctor. He's the one that did the autopsy, and they were learning that she died of several things, malnutrition, and lots of other stuff as well. And it's his opinion that it's all Father Moore's fault. He's saying that all the things that have happened to her, could be caused by epilepsy, and that she's also a psychotic epileptic as well, which would manifest the hallucinations and all that. And let's say make her joints lock up and make her eyes dilate, make them look black. There you go, and all that stuff. So he's giving the medical opinions. Then Erin counter argues that if she wasn't epileptic, could the Gambitrol have brought on all this stuff? And it said, but she was epileptic. So anyway. Oh, and then he says, what would you have done if you would have been her doctor? And he says, I would have tranquilized her and force-fed her. And he says, against her will? He says, yes, and given her electroshock therapy. Against her will. And he said, yes, to save her life. Yes, absolutely. No more questions. So it's the trial's slipping away from Erin. Denzel Washington's fallen at some point. I've seen that once. A while ago. Maybe I will. I'm starting to get requests now. Hey, I've got to do Hound of the Baskervilles at some point, but that might be for a Magnificent Monday because it's not really a horror, is it? It kind of is. I don't know. Anyway. Right. Anyway, so where were we? The trial's slipping away from her. So recess happens. Oh, it's where she apologised for being late. He just didn't get much sleep or a power cut, etc. And this is where he says to her, it was same for him, you know, they're under attack by demonic forces. There you go. You're in a spiritual battle, Erin. But then Martooth, here he is from SG1, Martooth, J.R. Bourne. He's her assistant, and Tyrrell, Chief Tyrrell's on the prosecution team. Anyway, they've got to find a doctor that'll testify that Emily wasn't epileptic. And they do find one later, but not just yet. Meanwhile, he's been to the library, got lots of books about possession and stuff. But she's reading a book by, I can't remember the name of the character. I've forgotten. Vishore Dashlu, Dr. Sadira Adani. She's reading a book by her that where she takes a scientific view of possession and stuff like that from cultures all around the world. So she's going to call her and get her to come in. So that's what's going to happen next. And I think we're going to see her next in court. So here we go. All right, she's doing her opening arguments now. It's her turn to do her opening arguments, and she's saying, the prosecution want you to look at this, just from a medical standpoint and all that. I said, but maybe there's more to it than that. There is a spiritual aspect to all this as well. She was very religious, blah, blah, blah. Keep an open mind. That's what she's saying. And she's saying, it was in fact a demonic possession. And she's saying, I don't know if I believe that or not. But Emily Rose believed it and Father Moore believed it. And exorcism was her only hope. But it's not the best argument, really, is it, in a court of law? But this is what she's going with. There you go, Cambertrol. And here we see she's taking it. She's there with Jason, taking it with, I don't know, a lager. But we learn that she just stopped taking it later, but because it's not working. She's getting worse and worse, even though she's taking the drugs. And so they're in the cafeteria, and all she can hear is the squeaking of cutlery on plates and stuff, and it's driving her mad. And there you go. She's super expressive, is Jennifer Carpenter. She's a good actress. I said she was good in Quarantine. I must admit, I did like her in that. I'm sure she's been in lots of other stuff as well. But anyway. So then he took her back to her dorm room, and he held her for a while. There you go. No hanky-panky, Wingrace. And then he fell asleep. And then when he wakes up, he sees her. She's all contorted on the floor. I think they actually made like a fake body for this scene, and they were gonna, like superimpose her face on it. But I think they actually ended up just using Jennifer Carpenter because she was, she's quite bendy, and so she could pull off this sort of contortion herself. I think that's right. But they did make a dummy. They made a couple of fake Emily Rose bodies. There were this one, which I don't think they ended up using. There's another one later where she like collapses. And I thought, why did they make a fake one for that? I don't really understand. When you see the scene, I didn't really get it. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So he's looking at it, and then she screams at him, because that's what she always does, look. She screams at him. And so he takes her home. He takes her back to the farm, the family home. And the family tried to look after her, but then they called Father Moore. And they sent a sister up, one of Emily's sisters up to tell her that the father was there, and went into the room and she was with this growly voice praying. And she's eating bugs, as we can see. She's got lots of bug husks that she's eating. And then she screams at her sister. Actually, at first, it's quite creepy, I must admit. At first, she just looks at her and her mouth is open like that, but nothing's coming out. And then she like takes a breath and just screams at the top of her voice. And then she starts scratching on the walls and all that. And then pulling her hair out. She pulls her hair out, and then she does also, I think I might have missed it. Is it? She's doing it here. There we go. She's doing this now in like a mockery of prayer, you know, the prayer stance, like a mockery of that, leaping up and down. And she starts pulling her hair out, so they've to restrain her, and this is where she like goes into another sort of like weird pose, as though all her joints have locked up. And I think this is where they did a fake body for her. I think it's this bit. Because they pick her up, look, she does that, and they start speaking in tongues, in Latin and stuff like that. Now, this is it. They pick her up, and she starts talking to him. And I don't know if this is the fake body, but they do use one in a bit. And I don't know why. But anyway. She starts speaking in Latin and saying, you know, she's telling Father Moore, you know, saying, you know, do your best, sort of thing, you know, try to remove. I say, I'm not going to leave this body, you know. And then she just no, I've gone too far. And then according to that making of thing that I found on YouTube, they said they created this that probably cost like thousands of dollars. This sort of like mannequin of her with all these bits and bobs inside that just collapsed in a, you know, a natural way. I thought, well, why did they just have her falling down? It's going to show it. Go on, get on with it. There you go. Just goes like that. Maybe because she did a header, you know, face first into the floor. I presume they superimposed a face, you know, Jennifer Carpenter's face. Maybe because she went face first into the floor. That's why they used a mannequin that just collapsed, you know. I wonder if they did a similar one in another film recently that we've done, haven't we? And I can't remember which film it was, where they had a body that were all the joints and stuff were held together with electromagnets. So when they turned the electromagnets off, it just crumpled. I wonder if it was a similar thing. I don't know. Anyway, so he goes out now, and we see she's there in the window looking out. And as he comes out, she goes in, and she's playing the piano. Don't ask me what she's playing, but I'm guessing it sounds a bit scary. And I'm thinking, is that what they call it, the devil's chord or whatever? I'm not musical at all. I can't remember what it is. Shall I look it up? Hang on. It might be, it might not be. I don't know. Hang on. What is it? The devil's a tritone consisting of two notes that are 3 whole steps apart, such as C to F sharp. The devil's chord. So I'm guessing maybe that's what she's playing. I don't know. I'll unmute it. We'll have a listen. God's sake, I've unmuted it. There we go. I'm guessing that's to make it sound devilly. I don't know what it is though. Oh, actually, give him a good old whack because he's got finger marks on his cheek there. Actually, give him a good old slap. Anyway, right. So, Ethan, I've still forgot his name. I keep thinking Ethan Hunt, but that's not his. Ethan Thomas. There we go. Ethan Thomas is asking Emily's dad if he reads the Bible. Come on, you bloody thing. He says yes, and then he says, "Do you read this other book, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, which is the Bible of neurological medicine?" Well, no, obviously not. There you go. So it's telling him that all the stuff that's happened with Emily Rose could be explained from a medical perspective, epilepsy and all that. Do you read Sutter Kane? I know that's that At the Mouth of Madness, isn't it? Sutter Kane's Jürgen Prochnow, isn't it? I know that. So he's on about all that, saying, "No, I've not studied these things," so he doesn't know. He's using his religious beliefs. That's enough for him to explain what's happened. And basically, what Ethan Thomas is doing is saying, you're a bumpkin. You don't know these things. I'm a smart lawyer, and there's all clever doctors saying all this other stuff, but you're just a country bumpkin, with your hokey religious beliefs, and that's all nonsense. And it's a bit weird because they did pick this fella because he's religious, and he does say in the film that he's a man of faith, but yet he's sticking, vociferously with this the medical explanations. And Erin, who's like an agnostic, not particularly religious, she's the one that's got to use the religious aspect and get the jury to believe that. But anyway, it's the twist, you see. But anyway, so he's saying, I don't know about these things. She were fine at one point, and then something happened. Pardon me. And she just turned, and all this bad stuff started happening. And the drugs didn't work, or they didn't seem to be working. Right, so, and I think that's where they've done all they could. They called him. That's when they called Father Moore or something like that. Right, so who's this now? Oh, this is Shorey Agdashloo's here with the amazing voice. There she is. She's the doctor who wrote the book about exorcisms, all around the world, giving it a scientific perspective. And she does a good job of saying that, these things, whether you believe they're real or not, these things do happen. And, and it can be explained scientifically. There are alternative explanations. It's not just a medical thing. You can look at it in different ways. And this doctor, she does, believes that the gambitrol was the factor that caused Emily to become possessed. But Emily, she believes that Emily, to start with, was hypersensitive. So she was like a sensitive person who was more prone, to be attacked by spiritual forces. But taking the gambitrol sort of like lowered the defenses even more, so allowed the demonic force to invade her body. And he says objection, and the judge says, on what grounds? He says, well, what about silliness? So he doesn't believe any of this. And the judge has had enough, so she calls them to the bench, and Erin says, she's an expert in this stuff, and he's saying, well, it's all a load of stuff and nonsense. But the judge sides with Erin. Women, they all stick together, don't they? But so she's going to allow it to continue. So she carries on, and she says that the drug is what enabled the there you go, locked Emily in the possessed state. That's what the drug did. This made-up drug. I did look it up. I thought, I'll make sure it's not a real drug, and it isn't. Right. Oh, so he has Ethan Thomas has a go at her. There you go. Voodoo priestesses, Indians tripping on peyote buds and all that, saying it's all nonsense. But then she turns it round on him because she's a smart woman. And, he's trying to say, you'll think these are normal experiences. And she says, well, no, I don't. They're not normal at all. And they're terrifying. But they do happen. But so there we go. So that's That's her expert testimony. Right. So what happens next? She's sitting on the bench. I can't remember. Oh yes, this is when Martoof. I can't remember the character's name. What is it? J.R. Bond. Ray. I keep calling him Martoof. Ray comes and tells him that he's found. Well, he's not found. A doctor's been in touch with him, who was present at the exorcism, and this is Dr. Cartwright, I do believe. Yes, Dr. Graham Cartwright. He was there at the exorcism, and we learn that he was a friend of Father Moore. So he called them, and he's willing to testify. So she goes in and asks Father Moore, why didn't you tell us about this doctor? And he says, well, he asked not to be, he asked me not to tell anybody that, he was involved. So he didn't. So is that fair enough? Right, so here it is. So she's going to meet. This is Dr. Cartwright. He's feeding the pigeons. So this is where he tells her all about what happened. He was there at the exorcism on Halloween, and he was there at the request of Father Thomas, not Father Thomas, Father Moore, who he wanted a medical person there, to observe Emily and to look after her while the exorcism was going on. And then it turns out he's also got Father Moore's tape recorder, because Father Moore recorded the exorcism. So he gives her that as well. But he doesn't believe, by the way, he's a medical person, but he doesn't believe that. He does believe that she was possessed. Something terrifying happened that night. So anyway, so he's gonna go to court. He's gonna testify, but he gives her the tape recorder. That's what we're doing there. He wasn't pulling a gun on her. There we go. Gives her the tape recorder. So he's gonna appear. So she's all excited now because they've got the doctor that they wanted. So yeah, she's all excited. But Father Moore saying, well, when do I get to testify? But she didn't want to. And I think Colin Fiore, her boss, had told her, and that the church, they don't want him to testify either. But he says, I've got to tell Emily's story and all that. And then she starts telling a little story of her own. So maybe this is white. So this is a hope scene, where there's hope. She's walking, it's snowing, and she finds a little there we go, a little locket on the floor. And she picks it up, and it's got the initials ECB, which turns out are her initials. Middle name's Christine. Erin Christine Brunner. She picks that up. She never opens it, I don't think. She opens it, so I don't know if there's anything inside. But she keeps it. But she says, what are the odds of me finding that? Because obviously it wasn't hers, but she just found it. So she sees that as though something nice has happened. That's how she's seeing it. Anyway, just make sure we're still going. Dee. Yes, we are. Which was no chats on thingamabob, Rumble, and nothing on nothing on there either. If I click that, will that go to that? Right. Oh yes, it does. All right, cool. Sorry, I've just found out now I can have a chat on X when I click the link. Right, I'll leave it on there. Right. Not that anybody's chatting or probably watching. Right, so she's now filled with she's got hope now. She's found the doctor that she wanted, who's going to add, a bit of credence to Father Moore's testimony. And she found that little locket with her initials on. So she's thinking things are looking up. So, but it's all going to go wrong soon. But never mind. So she's saying, she's hopeful. 3 a.m. She wakes up again. What happens this time? I can't remember. Oh yes, she hears a noise. That's it. And the tape's playing by itself in the living room. It's playing somehow. And then she says, "God help me." Then back at court, she puts him on the stand. So he tells it from his perspective, does Father Moore. So he's going to tell her, what happened. He had to go to the archdiocese or whatever, get permission from the archbishop, I don't know, to do the exorcism. So permission was given by the church. Apparently the church isn't happy that this comes out in court, but never mind. So he retires to bed with his Roman ritual book, Bell Book and Candle, sometimes called, in it, the Ritual Romani or whatever, book about exorcisms, Roman Catholic exorcism book. And he says he fell asleep and woke up at 3 a.m., which is the demonic witching hour, which apparently is the opposite of 3 p.m. when Jesus was supposed to have died. Don't know if that's accurate, I don't know, but never mind. Anyway, he woke up, he heard a noise, he went outside, or went out of his rooms. Oh, I could smell burning. He thought he could smell burning. He remembered what Emily had said, what Emily had described. So he goes and get this fire extinguisher. Just says, I'm watching, just busy at work. Yeah, cool. I'm on about on X. I'm just checking, the other streams. I don't think anybody's watching on X, but I'll keep trying and see what happens. Anyway, so he gets the fire extinguisher and goes and checks his rooms. Is this his house? Does he share it with anybody? I don't know. But anyway, he's checking it at 3 a.m. And then he goes to the it's not showing it now. Look at it. He sees these leaded windows. There we go. And we see that they start bleeding because it's the devil. It's the devil. And then he starts praying. And then he sees there we go. What does that say? Is that supposed to be Jesus? I don't know. But the eyes start bleeding on that. Look. Yes, it is Jesus because it said Inri, didn't it? Jesus Nazarenum Rex Judiorum. Anyway, then another religious painting that starts giving it all that as well. Look, because it's the devil. Oh, it's the hooded figure who we see soon. The hooded figure presents itself. So he goes outside. He runs outside the pouring rain for some reason. And then he sees in the distance, just a little bit away. Come on, show us. I see it's too bloody. There we go. A hooded figure that nods at him. As we see, is it going to nod? There we go. Gives him a little nod. Then is asked, "What's the significance of the nod?" And he says, "Well, I think it's a manifestation, a demonic manifestation that's sort of like telling him that the game is on, and he's got to do his best to save Emily, while they're going to do their best to not save her." There you go, some kind of acknowledgement that the game is on. So there we go. So he's saying, so you're kind of God's gunslinger, standing tall and facing the devil with your prayer book at your side. And she says that, objection sustained. He's harassing the witness. He said, "Do you understand this black robe figure to be the devil?" He says, "Well, I think it's a demonic, entity or whatever." And he says, how many times have you seen it since? And he says, "I've seen it ever since." Well, he's explaining that it's much like a ghost. It's a demonic force that's manifesting so that they can see it. Basically, just to scare you. Yes, the game is afoot. Watson, bring the needle. Oh, dear. Don't cross the streams unless you need to cross the streams. Well, yeah, that's basically what happens, isn't it? There's a slight chance that we would survive. Anyway, right, so what's he saying next? Can't remember. Right, it's her turn now. Right, so yes, right. So it's saying got authorization to do this exorcism, and they decided to do it on Halloween. He said, "Why Halloween? Don't you think that's a bit dramatic?" And he says, "Well, traditionally, Halloween, All Hallows Eve, which precedes All Saints' Day, is supposedly, when the spiritual forces, have more power, or the veil between the real world and the spirit world is, thinner. But anyway, I thought we could use the occasion to draw the demons into the open and expel them. Then she brings out the tape. He says, "Do you recognize this?" And he says, "Yes, it's my tape recorder. I used it to record the exorcism." And she asked, "Why would you do that?" He says, "Well, it's standard procedure now. Since the technology became available, the tape, they record exorcisms, for review later. But remember, this is based on a case in the 70s. You thought, this is nowadays. Been a few camcorders knocking about, wouldn't you? In 2005, maybe. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So this is where I think now we're gonna see what happened in the exorcism of the film's title. Oh, it's where we learn that they've provided a transcript. Because he objects, does Ethan Thomas. And she says, we only got it last night, but we have provided a transcript for the prosecution and presumably for the jury as well. So that it's all there, they can read it all. So they must have quickly got that typed up. But so we're gonna listen now to what and see. Obviously, we're gonna see what happened. So this is the exorcism of Emily Rose. So it begins. So this is where he's saying that in the room is Emily Rose's father, Jason, a friend, the doctor, Father Tom. Father Thomas. Why? Father Moore, and Emily herself. So he's getting ready now to begin. So they tie her up. And then he's saying, can you say any prayers that you want to when I'm not asking you to respond to his, whatever they call them. I don't know. I'm not a Catholic. Catholics always have to have responses, don't they? In their prayers and rituals. But then he's saying, do whatever I ask without question. So they say, fair enough. Emily's holding this kind of creepy doll. But anyway, they're going to tie her up and begin the ritual. And she starts cackling, the cackling that we heard in the trailer. So he starts giving it the old holy water and all that. They're downstairs, the sisters and the mother. And they start speaking in tongues again. She speaks a few different languages. I can't remember which ones, but she speaks in Latin and Aramaic and German and maybe others as well. It is brought up in court that she may be able to speak those languages. But anyway. So then she breaks from her bonds and gives her father a good hiding, and he knocks him across the room, and but he's all right. Then he's asking who she is, who the demon is, and then she starts doing this little rhyme, trick or treat. I give you treats and tricks, and then she starts counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and she says it 3 times, 666. And then she jumps out the window. Yes, she said, cats. Cats attack Father Moore for some reason. And remember, she used to get stray cats, and obviously the stray cats must work for the devil as well. You're listening, princess, whatever you are. So while they're distracted helping Father Moore, she pulls herself off the bed and jumps out the window. She does on Father Ted. Somebody jumps through a window in Father Ted, don't they? She does that anyway. Remember, they're on the first floor, by the way, or second floor if you're in America. We call it the first floor. The upper floor. She's just leaped out of there and just running off across the farmyard into the barn. So they go chasing after her. I don't know where the tape recorder is, by the way, when all this is happening. It doesn't show it. Who's carrying it? Don't know. Maybe the doctor's carrying it. I don't know. Maybe it shows us. I just didn't notice. But as I said, we're supposed to be hearing the audio from the tape, aren't we? Cats are the physical manifestation of the devil's will, pure chaos and evil. Yes, they are. They are. Which is why I love dogs are God's love for us. I'm a cat person. What does that say about me? Anyway, she's screaming, and they're all holding their ears because she's screaming her head off, and there's thunder and lightning going off as well. It's all chaotic. And she's pulling faces. Look, this is super good at pulling faces. Is Jennifer Carpenter, and looking very demonic. He's going through his ritual, and then he asks. We learn that there's 6. Because she was counting to 6, and she did it 3 times, but there's supposed to be 6 demons in there. He's asking the names. Snakes are appearing, look, as well. And he presses his crucifix against her, and she starts freaking out, saying, "Get it off me! It burns us." Don't say that, but just reminded me of Gollum. Joshua Knapp says, "I do love cats. I really like dogs, but prefer Tilda. Yeah, I like all animals, apart from creepy crawlies. But cats are ace." Where were we? Anyway, she collapses to the ground after he put the crucifix on her, and so he's giving it all his the power of Christ, whatever condemns you, whatever. I can't remember the words now. Right, so he's saying, "I command you, name me. What is your name?" or whatever, and she starts saying, "I am he." Oh, they're saying, "Get out of her." Then give me your name. Oh, there we go. And she says, "We are the ones who are within." And I'm going to get the names. It says, I am the one that was in Judas. I am the one that was in Nero and all that. I'm trying to see if it comes up with it. Come on, show us. Tell us. Oh, maybe it's maybe she's saying it in a different language. It's not doing it on the subtitles. Stupid film. There's something like she does 4, and like Judas, Nero, and 2 others that I can't remember. Cain, Nero, Judas, and another. And then 2, she says, "I'm Belial and I am Lucifer." Belial is one of Lucifer's princes in the Prince of Hell or something. And obviously, Lucifer is the devil. So that's who she's saying. And looking spooky with little glints in her eyes. "I am the devil in the flesh." Anyway. And then she collapses, I think. Yes, she collapses then. The exorcism had to be abandoned. It was a complete failure. That's just the one that they're doing the film. Said in the Annalise Michel case, 67 times they tried it. But anyway. But they didn't try it again. And she just got worse and worse, as it says, violence towards others and herself that happened. She tried to bite holes in the walls, and we saw the teeth that were broken. But he kept going back and visiting and stuff, but there was nothing he could do. She asks, "Did you try to get her to eat?" And he said yes. Whenever she did try to eat, she couldn't keep it down. By the way, she wasn't a raving beast all the time. It's stressed in this. There were times when she was really lucid, and because they had to get permission from the person who's possessed, if to get permission to perform the exorcism. So they did get permission at first, but then she wouldn't give permission again afterwards, which is why I didn't do any more exorcisms. But she was quite lucid at some points, and she did write a letter, which is read out later on. But she couldn't eat. She just threw it up, and he wanted her to continue her medical treatments, but she felt that they weren't going anywhere. But it was her choice. It was her choice to stop taking the drugs and stop seeing the doctors. But anyway, I want to talk about the dual voices, because apparently you could hear 2 voices at once. And they argue later that humans have 2 sets of vocal cords. I don't know if that's true. Pardon me. and that you can speak with both of them at the same time. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway. But Josh Temple says, I love cats and dogs. Just super allergic to cats. Less for dogs, but I love dogs more. Cool. Anyway. So he thinks, that Father Moore thinks that, her speaking in tongues and the dual voices and what else, and the other stuff, show that, in his opinion, she was possessed by demonic forces. But then Ethan Thomas comes along and says, what you think are signs of possession are just, natural things. People can utilize both of their sets of vocal cords, like Tibetan monks can do it and all that. I don't know if that's true or not. And what else were there? And that her speaking in tongues, the languages that we heard, she was actually, she took at college, at university. She took German and she went to catechism, so she knew Latin and all that. And she may have been exposed to Aramaic, but they're not sure. But she could have known those languages. That's what they're trying to say. There you go. That's what it's saying there. All right, ancient Greek as well and Hebrew. So she was clever. She could speak in all these languages. I can just barely manage English. A bit of Klingon. Kapla. Anyway. So he's taking him apart. Is Ethan Thomas? Is that right? Yeah. So he's saying that there's a scientific explanation, and then they're going about the demonic apparition. He says, "Am I that demonic apparition?" So, objection. There you go. But, I was expecting they should have showed it, shouldn't they, at the back of the court? From his perspective, they should have shown a spooky shadow or something on the wall. Maybe they're doing. I just missed it. Anyway, right. All right. The next witness is supposed to be Dr. Cartwright, and he's been detained. Matouf came in and whispered something in their ear. So she suggests a recess while they go and find out what's happened. So the judge, says we'll come back tomorrow at 9:30 sharp. So they've got to go and find out what's happened with Dr. Cartwright. We can't find him. He went to meet him and didn't show, but she just find him. He's standing there in the street, and he says, I can't do it. I admire his courage. It's all real. And then he looks at her as though he's seen something behind her. In a minute, there we go. He's seen something behind her. He goes running off. Hang on. Goes running off and gets hit by a car. There we go. Where did this car come from? They come out of nowhere in films, don't they, these cars? But anyway, so this car hits him. It looks a bit like, hang on, let's see if we can pause it again. Is it Michael Myers? There we go. Oh, like the car that Michael Myers steals in Halloween, doesn't it? There we go. Is it? Do you reckon it is? No. It's some sort of official vehicle, isn't it? So he's dead. He's gone through the windscreen. He's dead. He's Dr. Cartwright. There we go. So it's it's slipping away from her. And Colin Fiore, I'm sure he's got a name in the film. I'm sure he has. Let's have a look. Colin Fiore. Carl Gunderson, that's his name in the film. He's her boss. He's telling her that he's not happy that she put Father Moore on the stand, and it's all going away, and the church isn't happy and all that. And he tells her, if you put him on the stand again, you're fired. So that's what he tells her. And so that's what she does. And there we go. This is where we learn that this is actually a good person. She's fighting for her client now. It's not about her getting a name on a door and a partnership. She wants to help Father Moore and get Emily's story out there. So they go, you've been crying, and they said, yeah, Dr. Cartwright's dead. So they've lost him. But he says, I'm sorry, I know he was your friend, but they got to tell Emily's story. And this is where he produces this letter that Emily wrote him. There we go. To Father Moore. So he's going to read that in court next day. There you go. She goes to court. This is the last day in court now. She's got the ECB locket on for good luck. There you go. Colin Fiore's in the audience. What do they call it? Public gallery, whatever. So she's putting him on the stand, and he gets angry. Look, oh, she's fired now. He's going. He's leaving the courtroom. He's Carl Gunderson. That's like a name from Police Squad, isn't it, Carl Gunderson? Anyway. Right, so when did you last see Emily alive? Night before she died. She wrote him this letter. There you go. To give him that letter. So he's going to read it out. And this is where we're learning that, she was very devout and all that. And so he's going to read the letter. Oh, yes, he objects that for some reason, because they'd always do, don't they? The objection on the grounds that I object. And she says, we need all this, to establish stuff. I don't bloody know. But she allows it because, women stick together. So he starts reading the letter, and this is where she has a dream. Or is it a dream? But after the exorcism, she fell into a deep sleep. And she heard a voice calling out her name. So she goes outside. See, everything's white or ish. So this is associated with hope. So she goes out and she hears the voice of the Virgin Mary, the Mother of God. She's collapsed in the field, and she's looking. She has an out-of-body experience. And there you go. The Blessed Holy Mother of God. And she's saying, there you go. Heaven is not blind to your pain. And he says, hang on, where are we? Are we carrying on? Yes, we are. He's saying, why did the demons not leave me tonight? I said, well, you can either come with me in peace and go to heaven and all that, free of your bodily form, or you can stay. And if you stay, many others will learn that the realm of the spirit is real. And I didn't really get this bit, to be honest, because it's never been, a religious thing to prove the existence of, God or demons or the spirit world or anything like that, is it? It's all about faith, not proof, isn't it? But whatever. So that's when she decides she's going to stay and continue, basically martyr herself, doesn't she? She's going to martyr herself. That's what she's going to do. It's the passion of Emily Rose, essentially, isn't it? That's what's happening here. So that's what she's doing. The choice is yours, or in a woman's voice. So she does. She goes back into her body, and then we see she's got stigmata, and then she finishes. He's crying. The people will know that demons are real. Blah blah blah. All right, people have got to believe in God if I show them the devil. And then it's all the stigmata. There you go. I believe there's stigmata. And he thinks that Emily Rose will one day be regarded as a saint. I think the dream visit actually proves she's cray-cray. Don't be so cynical, Joshua Kanapke. Anyway, so he thinks that, no, there were real injuries, he said. They did, they lasted for quite some time. But I thought she died. I thought she died the next day, but I don't know. Maybe he just meant for some hours, I don't know, and then they disappeared. So that's his story. So, but then Ethan Thomas, says the wounds on Emily's hands and feet could have been caused by the barbed wire fence that surrounded the farm. He's wrapping up now. There you go, barbed wire fence. She had a medical condition. That's what happened. And if she'd have carried on taking her medication, she'd have got better eventually. And she'd have been all right. But eventually. But that man over there He's the one that told her to stop taking the medication and killed her. So then she gets up and she says, I don't know what's real. I just know that essentially Father Moore is a good man. Don't send a good man to jail. That's basically what she says. She says he's always talking about facts. Is Ethan Thomas, and she says there's no facts in this case, just opinions. Because he is saying it's a fact that she had epilepsy, and it's not. It's the medical opinion that she had epilepsy, and so she's saying, it's not facts, it's opinions. It's all open to interpretation, blah, blah, blah. Make up your own minds, etc. But don't send Father Thomas, keep calling Father Thomas, Father Moore to jail because he's a good man. Right. You see, because there's no facts, there's always a reasonable doubt. Yeah, so anyway. So the jury go out to deliberate. They don't waste any time. They don't do a 12 Angry Men. They come to a verdict, and they find him guilty. They find the defendant guilty of negligent homicide, which can have a 10-year prison sentence. It must be like, I don't know. It must be like, first degree homicide or whatever. But he could go to prison for 10 years. So he's guilty. He's okay with it. He's what's his name now? Chief Tyrrell. Yes, and the judge says, I will, we will sentence him at a later date. I think that's in April something or other. And he said, if it pleases your honour, Father Moore requested at the start of the trial that he'd be sentenced immediately. Is that a thing that you can ask for? I don't know, but they did. So yes, all right then. Right then. So she's going to say, I think she's ready to send him to prison for 10 years, I think. There you go. But before she says anything, the foreman of the jury would like to make a recommendation that they recommend the sentence of time served, because he's been on remand or whatever, hasn't he? So that's what she does. She says, okay, fair enough. This is where I nearly start crying at the end of the film. Where she says, Father Moore, you are guilty and you are free to go. And I'm like, ah! So that's it. Court is dismissed. So they've basically lost. They lost the case. He's guilty. He's guilty of negligent homicide. But, he's free to go. He's served his time. So she's basically lost. He's won, but they don't seem happy about it because he's not happy because he ain't gone to jail. So anyway, so she goes obviously to the bar for a drink, and he's all happy. The church is happy because it's raised interest in the church, and he says, the partnership is yours, but she says keep it. So I'm guessing she quits. She doesn't say that, but she says, keep your partnership, and walks out. And she goes, we have a fade to white, and then a dissolve to the cemetery, and he's at Emily Rose's grave. And he doesn't know what he's going to do. He can't go back and become a priest again or whatever. I don't know what he's going to do. The real life priest at the center of the no, I'm lying. I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. Never mind what I've just said. Oh dear. I would say the real life priest went into seclusion, but no, that's wrong. That's him. It says at the end of the film he goes into seclusion. So does it go to like a monastery or something? I don't know, but anyway. And we see the inscription on her grave: "Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." And then basically that's the end of the film. She's putting the files away in the box. There you go. She's put, the people versus Richard Moore. And then she gets into bed. We see she's turned the clock around, and then for some reason we didn't actually see her turn it to face it away from her, but she turns it back to herself and then goes to sleep. And that's the end of the film. There we go. And then they start telling us, as though it's real, Emily's gravesite has become a holy shrine. I don't know. Is this the case for Annalise Michel? I have no idea. But he went into seclusion and all that. But it's like I say, it's inspired by the case of Annalise Michel. But that's the end of the film. So I really like that film. I like a good courtroom drama, and I like a good horror. It's a lot. It's a great film. It's one of my favourite horror films. I really like it. So there we go. That is the end of The Exorcism of Emily Rose. It's a cool film. I really like it, and it always sets me off. I'm nearly getting a bit emotional at the end there. But anyway, right. So give it a whirl. But get the DVD. Don't get the bloody Blu-ray. Tell you to get this off eBay as well. Good job I didn't pay full money for it, because it's quite expensive on Amazon. I got it off eBay for £10. So second hand. He went into seclusion till they need him again in 2305. See, I don't know now. Is he in something? It's set in the year 2305. You're always over my head because I'm an idiot. Anyway, so yes, so get the DVD because that's got all the special features on. It's a really, really good film. I really like it. One of my faves. Hang on, let me get rid of this. There we go. Right. We'll leave it there. I've not decided what I'm doing next week yet for next week's Friday Night Appointment with Fear. I will announce it during the week. But on Monday, for the sequel. All right. Hang on. No, I'm just thinking it would be a terrible but amazing sci-fi sequel. Yeah, sequel. Yeah. Sequel. Worst courtroom drama ever. Class Action. Second movie I walked out on. Oh, you're about that film, Class Action, right? Talking about this one. Not seen it. Then again, I've not seen that many courtroom dramas, to be honest. I think 12 Angry Men. But that's just in the jury room, isn't it, really? What else have I seen? To Kill a Mockingbird. And I'm struggling now to think of any more. But anyway, so that's that. Right, what we've got coming up Monday, Magnificent Mondays this week is Thingamabob. Gremlins. We're doing Gremlins because it's still kind of in the Christmas season. Near enough. So we're doing that next Monday. Devil's Advocate. I think I've seen that, actually. But it was a while ago. Probably, but I've forgotten it. I'm getting to that age now where, watching a film that I didn't, I haven't watched for like a few years. It's like watching it again for the first time. Because I've got Alzheimer's or something. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Right, so thank you, Win Grace, Joshua Kadapke, Josh Temple, for keeping me company as I go through this film and nearly start crying at the end. Dude, that last bit always gets me. That, you are guilty and you are free to go. Always sets me off. Yes, Pacino's the devil is gold. No. Hang on, where are we? Class Action was way worse than DA Devil's Advocate despite cast. I don't think I've seen Class Action. Don't think I've seen that. Anyway, right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Don't have nightmares. Go follow Win Grace on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. And hang on. Well, I guess we could stick a harpoon in this one. Great show. Have a great weekend all. Thank you, Josh Temple. Toodles. Says Joshua Kadapke. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, wherever you are. Look after each other. Don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll see thee.